Hey everyone, what up? Mad Kaiser here. Now the original Xbox turns 25 this year. Yep, I'm already feeling like an old man just hearing by that fact. And as you guys probably know, I've been a whole Xbox player from around the original all the way up to the Xbox One. And while admittedly the Xbox brand isn't what it is now,
what the hell is this?
Still, I thought this would be a good video to celebrate that huge milestone. And since you guys enjoyed also my top 10 Nintendo Switch games video, I thought why not do a follow-up with Xbox itself. So here I'll be doing my top 10 Xbox games. But of course with any list, here are a little bit of some rules here. For one, I'll be listing down games from all generations. So from the original to the 360, all the way up to the Xbox Series. As well, I'll also count on games I played on an Xbox system, so nothing I played on like say PlayStation 5 or even PC or Nintendo Switch will count. This would also be where it's not just first party exclusives, so even third party titles will also count. Whether or not they're exclusive or not, it still matters in my own opinion. And of course lastly, this is again my own opinion, so it's completely subjective, and if there's no game that you like that's on the list, then let me know down in a comment. I'd love to hear you guys on what your favorite Xbox games are. So with that out of the way, let's get down straight onto the list. Kicking off we have is Borderlands 3. Now this was a game I waited for. This one was a game I waited for a very long time. Ever since I beat both Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel around 2014. So come in around 2019 and finally it was here. And for the most part, it was well worth the wait. Immediately the graphics are a huge leap up compared to Borderlands 2, and especially this, with the character models, expressions, and worlds looking all very detailed and expressed in this traditional Borderlands art style. Upon that, both the gunplay and overall gameplay is very improved, with all the player classes being great in their own right, and having their strong perks, as well as cool action skills and builds. Alongside that, the music is pretty stellar, and the brand new addition is the multiple worlds you can explore, from the sands of Pandora to the neon city of Promethea, and even the jungles of Eden 6, all of which pack their own unique enemies and bosses. Coupled with some quality of life features in the overall gameplay, it makes this game more fun to play than the prior games. However, in spite of all of that, the game still has its faults, most notably when it comes to both the story and writing, which feels like a huge downgrade, especially coming towards Borderlands 2 and even the pre-sequel, with it having things like pacing issues and even certain characters feeling regressed, and it doubles down on the humor to a point that either becomes either unfunny or just downright annoying, alongside the various plot holes and inconsistencies this story has. And new characters like Ava is annoying, but then you come across the addition of the Calypso twins, who are arguably some of the worst villains in not only in Borderlands, but in all of gaming, with them being all over the place with their unfunny jokes and having little to no development. Alongside that, things like the planet of Venus is very disappointing, and the side content as well as DLCs are hit or miss. And performance issues as well as glitches do hinder this quite a bit. But outside of all the major story and writing issues, the game is still fun for what it is. Next up we have is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Now full disclosure, I haven't played a Metal Gear game at all even, so this being an exposure was quite interesting. But for what it's worth, I think it's really incredible. With this one being a spin-off in the same series and being made by Platinum Games, the same people as Bayonetta, Astral Chain, Nier Automata, as well as even recently Ninja Gaiden 4. In this you follow as Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 2, who's now become a cyborg, sent to stop down the evil Winds of Destruction and even evil Senator from basically causing chaos. Upon that, you also get to continue the traditional action experience that Platinum is well known for, but with a twist, as instead of the usual dodging / witch time as most of their other games perform, Metal Gear Rising is all about the parry, with the goal of being able to parry your enemies at the right time to counter, upon also having this new cool blade mode, which allows you to precisely cut through obstacles and enemies, while also using Zandatsu to insta-kill them. It's a really satisfying thing to do once you get it right, and packed in with some amazing music, especially towards the bosses, that really go hard. And you have some really fun stuff all around, alongside some moments where the story itself can feel over the top, with some crazy moments, as well as some moments that feel weirdly relevant, especially in this day and age. And you have pretty much a fun ass game. Now, not all of it is great. The stealth missions, let alone sections, exist. They're really pretty much nothing burgers. And some levels do vary in quality. But outside of all of that, it's still an amazing game. And also,
the memes.
For my 8th pick, we have is Super Monkey Ball Deluxe.
Dude, you like Super Monkey Ball? Pim. Bro, I knew I liked you, dude. Come here, bring it.
For real though, this is one of my favorite games from my childhood, and a good time at that even. Now, Deluxe is basically the complete version of Super Monkey Ball, which was originally from the GameCube, but with some added extras that came for both the Xbox and PlayStation 2. Now, the core mechanics of both the first and second game are carried into this, with you rolling down the ball of your own monkey through various courses, some of which are easy, but some of them are absolutely brutal, but also giving you that same level of speed, momentum, and thrills. And each of the locations you come across are varied, from going from a jungle to a volcano to an ocean to inside a whale, and an amusement park, and also a boiling pot at one point. Yeah, I forgot on how insane the story of this game is. And yes, this game has a story, and it's so bizarre, nonsensical, and just downright cheesy, but at the same time, it's charming at the same time. Piled in with some amazing music, as well as also having the various modes, a challenge mode, as well as even the various mini games, where you and another player can challenge through things like the fan favorite target, baseball, race, boxing, tennis, and billiards. All in all, this game is so much fun, like absolutely fun. But the overall charm, gameplay, and atmosphere is so good that you can't help but just ignore it and still have just a damn good time. From one Sega game to another, we have is Sonic Unleashed. Now, this game is within my top 5 favorite Sonic games of all time, and I have so much love and fondness for this game, and I'm glad the community does, as this pretty much felt like Sonic at its pure premium and very ambitious, and for the most part, it actually sticks to landing, opposed to say 06. To this day, this is arguably the best looking Sonic game out there today, from the in-game graphics and art style alone, as well as even having some high-tier CGI cutscenes. Well, that is of course, it is challenged by the likes of Shadow Generations, which, oh my god, finally! It looks so damn good! But on top of that, you also have a great story, with it focusing on traveling the world, all of which are even based on real-life locations. And the more you see Sonic and his newfound relationship with Chip, who's a great character, both develop in a way. Upon that, you even have the boost gameplay, which was initially brought and introduced in Sonic Rush, but now into a 3D space. And that alone is fantastic, with having a good sense of speed, and for really challenging levels, while still controlling very well, which also helps set a new foundation and formula for the series, especially when future entries choose to adapt and iterate upon it. The music is fantastic, which is expected from the series. Now I gotta address the dark Gaia in the room, and that is the Werehog Nighttime stages, which trades in for the fast speed Sonic gameplay that we all know and love, for more slower and more combat focused gameplay instead, akin to say God of War, while also having some puzzles and platforming in the mix. Now I have a confession. I don't think the Werehog is that bad, Yes, like other gameplay styles, it can be a bit of a pace breaker, but I think it's a nice change of pace to switch from the very fast reaction speed of the daytime levels to this. I know it's not for everyone, but I think it has some nice charm. However, the real gripes I do have is collecting medals, as well as also having some excessive and even sometimes very strict QTEs. And also, the performance, especially during Jungle Joyride, is abysmal. It's really that bad. But with that said, I still love Sonic Unleashed, and I'm happy that fans were able to recompile it to give a closely native PC port. And hopefully one day, Sega can do a remaster of this game, but still give the justice that it well deserves. Now, I played lots of amazing arcade races on Xbox itself, but if I had to pick a favorite, it would undoubtedly be Forza Horizon 3. Right off the gate, this game puts a new spin on the traditional Horizon formula, where instead of playing as a nobody, where you climb up the ranks to become the best racer in the festival, here you're actually the boss, who gets to call all the shots while still partaking in these events. And also, on point, you're in Australia, which is my home. And I can safely say, as an Aussie, this game beautifully recreated the regions, especially towards Surface Paradise. And speaking of beautiful, this game still looks beautiful, just like with Forza Horizon 2. And the driving still feels very good, while still having lots of variety with the cars, as well as events and rewards. Traversing through a strong map, with some off-roading in the mix, as well as rallying, while still having a great selection of music and lots of variety, with creating blueprints of your own of what events you like to make, as well as having some really great car customization. And to be honest, this game doesn't feel tacked on like its later entries. And all in all, this is why I love Forza Horizon 3, and I do hope that Forza Horizon 6, the newest one, can retain a similar magic to the older style of Horizon games. Now we're in the top 5, and well, we have probably one of the most divisive titles to make it on the list, and that would have to be Kingdom Hearts 3. Now yes, I can admit this game does have flaws. Yes, the combat is a little bit floaty compared to Kingdom Hearts 2, yes, it can be unbalanced at times, and yes, the story and pacing can be either hit or miss at times, and not all worlds are a banger. But even still, Kingdom Hearts 3 is still a great game. Immediately, this game is the best looking in terms of visuals, with the worlds and characters looking downright phenomenal. On top of that, having Sora interacting with the new worlds with both Donald and Goofy is just a blast and just a fun time to watch and see. And some of the new worlds, like Toy Box, Corona, the Caribbean, and even the returning Olympus, are just a lot more fun here and even faithful to their movie counterparts. As well as also being fun to explore and traverse, but even having some of the best feeling worlds in the entire series. Some even contain their own interesting stories. The music is still great, and the gameplay is still pretty good. The addition of keyblade switching, form changes, as well as many of them even play differently, and my favorite addition would have to be Air Step, from the iteration upon the returning shot lock and flow motion. And things like the combo modifiers you get from the DLC, as well as critical mode and the Remind expansion, which of course adds new playable characters and epic super bosses and secret bosses that, by the way, are so damn good that they are easily some of the best bosses in the entire series. I think this just really has a phenomenal Kingdom Hearts experience. And while yes, the story does have flaws, and things like Arendelle leaves a lot to be desired, but for what they did to try to wrap up from the original Kingdom Hearts 1 all the way up to this, I feel like it was a mostly satisfying experience, and coupled with the DLC, it made me enjoy this game a lot more. Now I know this game isn't for everyone, but to me, Kingdom Hearts 3 is right up there with Kingdom Hearts 2 as my favorite game in the series. Just outside the top 3 we have Ninja Gaiden 2, and if you want a full and in-depth reasons of why I love this game, well, you can always check out my review. But for brevity, I love this game, and in many ways, it improves upon Ninja Gaiden 1, with the combat as well as gameplay speed being tons much more faster and fluid, as well as even having nice quality of life features, with being able to switch between weapons and items mid-battle, but also having the addition to now delimb and insta-kill foes, which each kill having their own unique animation based on either enemy and weapon, just feels so much fun to play, as well as also having brand new weapons, and the movement just feeling a lot more better. And even the levels themselves have been more streamlined, that really flow cohesively with its gameplay, as well as even having a very solid soundtrack, and the Ninpo magic in this game is just so much better. And while yes, the story isn't great, it's still fun to watch Ryu take down fiends and Black Spider ninjas like a total badass. And this game has my favorite portrayal of Ryu by far, while also still having the tough encounters that are just still mostly fun, with the enemy count but even tripling that of the original game. And it makes for some intense sequences, like the famous Stairs of Doom, but you can even make it intense for them instead, with your various combos and weapons that just feels so rewarding. Now sure, Ninja Gaiden 2 is far from perfect. Yes, this game reeks of being rushed due to the obvious bugs and glitches. Yes, some enemies can be a bit of a pain, and quite a handful of bosses are just really terrible. One so bad it was cut from later versions. But even still, Genshin as well as the Great Fiends are still a highlight for me in terms of bosses. But even with regard of those flaws, Ninja Gaiden 2 still provides the most fun I had with the series as a whole. But even still, Ninja Gaiden 2 remains a top tier character action game for me. Now on to my top 3. So with that said, my third pick would have to be Portal 2. Now Portal 2 immediately is a phenomenal sequel to the already great Portal 1, doubling down on what made that game great by adding a whole slew of brand new puzzles that are just both rewarding and challenging at the same time, with taking the advantage of both your portal gun as well as even new mechanics that shape things up, things like the life bridge, the tube, and the various gels that can manipulate the puzzles and levels to feel very creative in so many ways. On top of that, the narrative and story is more focused here, and even provides more depth with things like the origins of the facility and even character development for the likes of the main villain GLaDOS. On top of also having just some huge stakes that really feels urgent, and you even have some very well dialogue that's just very well written and just top tier, with the likes from Wheatley, as well as once again the aforementioned GLaDOS, and of course my favorite, Cave Johnson. Alongside that, the music is just absolutely phenomenal and provides a sense of atmosphere. And even the co-op multiplayer with its own story as these two robots is just absolute fun and a blast. It can't be stated enough on why this was pretty much one of the best video games of all time, and I think it even wraps up this Portal series nicely, and it's so good I don't think it needs a third game, because Portal 2 is basically perfect in my eyes. Now coming at my number 2 would have to be Transformers Fall of Cybertron, a game that really stood out to me when I first played it all those years ago. Now coming off the success of the amazing War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron goes hard. Really hard. With it having a more emotional story with both the Autobots and Decepticons, with their desperate struggle of trying to survive and escape their dying world, with stakes being raised to an all-time high, and the characters all being fleshed out with some really interesting dynamics. On top of that, the gameplay is improved, taking on what worked with the gunplay being just absolutely great as it was, but adding lots of new weapon variety with some strong heavy weapons, as well as adding a dash button, and even having very unique levels that just feel very fun to play, and to take advantage of the character roster you get to play, even if you resort to one character per level. But each of them even do spice up the gameplay a bit. On top of also having just beautiful visuals and an epic score, but the major highlights being of course playing as both Bruticus and Grimlock. Honestly, they packed some of the best set pieces in a video game I ever played up to that point. It's just absolutely epic. And also, there's the multiplayer, which is even a sort of an improvement. Though the real caveat would have to be is that because of the online servers being old, they recently shut down during 2020, though fans were able to restore it through Discord server. And the other grievance is as well, this game was sadly also delisted on digital storefronts that same year as the servers were shut down. And it's a really damn shame also the fact that we never got a proper sequel to this game. But even still, this game is amazing, and it just kinda sucks that we'll never get a Transformers game in the same level of quality. Though Devastation was a banger in my opinion, so. Now before we get to my number 1, I'm gonna go to my community who I asked on what their favorite Xbox games are. So with that said, let's get on to what my peeps have to say. Starting off, we have my good friend and loyal member of the community, an amazing content creator, Kazakh the Gaming Vagabond. And he says right here, I'm not an Xbox player nowadays, but back on the 360 days, one of my favorite memories was playing Dead or Alive games, mainly 2 Ultimate and 4, with my brothers, and spending countless hours trying to unlock all the costumes in the game. Also, I was absolutely raging against Alpha 152 and Dead or Alive 4. Honestly, looking back, I appreciate the older Dead or Alive games so much, and they still look amazing even now. The 360 also introduced Tales of Vesperia, which was the first Tales game I was introduced to, so I'll have to give it some credit for kickstarting my love for the series. Good picks here, especially Tales of Vesperia, as everyone knows that Vesperia was the first Tales game to come on the Xbox 360, and at the time was even exclusive, which was, well, it was groundbreaking at the time, alongside Lost Odyssey and even Eternal Sonata, Blue Dragon. So many Japanese support on the Xbox in general around the 360 with Dead or Alive, and of course Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, Dead or Alive, I heard great things about it, they look absolutely amazing. Itagaki knew what he was cooking with the first 4 games, especially Dead or Alive 4, 3, 2, and 1. And honestly, those games, ever since playing Ninja Gaiden, it has got me interested into them. Next up we have is Tim Hoover1219, and it says my favorite was Lost Odyssey, which is again, I believe, a fantastic JRPG, especially for being exclusive on that system, obviously being made by, of course, Hironobu Sakaguchi, and basically just taking the aspects of his classic Final Fantasy games and working to give basically the proto-precursor to Clear Obscure Expedition 33, so honestly, for those JRPG fans who have an Xbox, you gotta try it out. Next we have is Nathan Ryu 6227, and he says, Ninja Gaiden Black, still the favorite game, still the best combat ever. And yeah, I would have to agree. I played Ninja Gaiden Black already, I did a review of it, so if you want to check it out for full detail of what I think about that. But long term short, again, it's an amazing game, but it's great first, entry in the Ninja Gaiden series, and it still has amazing combat. Though I still prefer Ninja Gaiden 2's combat personally, but still, Ninja Gaiden 1, especially Black, amazing game. Next up we have is Jaden Hardy, my good friend, and he says Halo 3, which I absolutely agree, and we'll get to that very soon. But yeah, Halo 3 is an absolute phenomenal game. And then lastly we have is Old Chat Gaming 7107, and they say here, Halo on Xbox was amazing, as was Halo 2, Halo Combat Evolved, Fable, GTA Double Pack, Splinter Cell, Dead or Alive 3, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Counter-Strike, Ninja Gaiden, and GTA San Andreas. And a lot of those picks I agree with, because a lot of them are just absolute bangers here, especially coming from the Xbox, let alone 6th generation. And we had some amazing masterpieces. Now with that said, thank you to my community for partaking in this, and with that out of the way, it's time to now list down my number 1 pick. And here it is, my most favorite Xbox game of all time, and undoubtedly one of my favorite games of all time, is without a doubt Halo 3. Now, to be honest, I was actually torn between this and the phenomenal Halo 2. And while 2 admittedly is stronger in various ways, 3 has something that no other Halo game has, let alone what it represents, and that is a sense of both finality and satisfaction. The stakes raised from Halo 2 have been carried on to 3, with both the Master Chief and the UNSC having to team up with the Arbiter and the Elites to stop the Covenant from unleashing the power via all Halo rings that will inevitably destroy all life throughout the various universes, including their own, as well as also end the scourge that is the Flood, as well as Chief does his best here to save Cortana at the very end. Halo 3 looks phenomenal, especially for the Xbox 360, upon also iterating the same gameplay that Halo 2 had, especially with your dual wielding and also having various new weapons, and even taking down various foes, from the returning Flood, Covenant, and even having some amazing set pieces. Upon that, this has easily the best ending in the entire series. Obviously, that never happened, of course, especially with its future entries, some of which do vary in quality, but regardless of how the state of Halo is now, Halo 3 would forever be a special game to me, and thus would be my favorite game on Xbox. And that here is my list of my top 10 Xbox games, which again to my community once again for picking out their own choices, and let me know down in the comments if there was a favorite game that you played on Xbox that wasn't mentioned here in the video. That said, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, then please give a like, subscribe if you're someone new, hit the notification icon if you want to stay up to date for future uploads like this. You can also follow me on my various socials, and if you want ad-free videos, as well as various perks like shoutouts at the end, and have video ideas of your own, then please support me on Patreon. It's very cheap. And with that said, special thanks to my patrons, and Mad Kaiser, out.